Hey besties, Monica Ferguson here and welcome to World Domination. This is a safe space for absolute legends who are bold enough and brave enough to go within, to recreate their belief system, to aim high, to chase their wildest dreams and become everything that they are destined to be. This is a space for people who are serious about growth, about healing. We talk about all things mind, body, spirit, and we have the courage to go further than most people even dare to dream. Welcome, let's get into it. Hey, beautiful people. Welcome to this week's episode of World Domination. Oh my God, how I am right now. Let's just keep this in because this is real talk, you guys. I've had one of those like tech nightmare days where everything's just driving me insane. And yeah, so I'm still here though. This is the key, right? This is the lesson for today. We show up anyway, even when things aren't perfect. So let's try that again. Welcome besties, Monica Ferguson here. Welcome to this week's episode of World Domination, which is going to be around trusting the timing. And I feel like this is honestly one of the most important things of our journey, right? Doesn't matter what we're working on, but we are not, I shouldn't speak for everyone. What I observe though is that most of us, we want it now, right? We're having our little Veruca Salt moment from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, like I want an Oompa Loompa now, especially when we're putting in the work, right? We've decided that we're going for it. And this is very broad, I know, but if we're talking about going after our goals, right? Whether that be getting into a relationship, working on our health, our fitness, working on a business or a creative project or whatever it is, it's like that battle to get to that point where we've even decided that we're going to do it. That's the first step, right? And so then we're there and we're empowered and we're excited, and then we've probably done a bunch of work on our self-worth where we're like, okay, yeah, I know that I'm worthy now. I know that I'm deserving. So I want it now, right? And then the universe says, no. But wait, there's a bunch of stuff that needs to happen first. And this, I feel like, not to be the bringer of bad news, but to be the one that talks about the truth, right? Because honestly, the way that we navigate fear is one thing, but the way that we navigate this waiting time is also going to determine how we come out, right? Because we start and we have this goal and we imagine ourselves at the end, but so often we don't understand the process that needs to unfold in order for us to get there. And I mean, I will speak for myself, friends, like, if I'm being honest, it has always taken longer than I thought it was going to take. But when I've looked back, I've seen the absolute perfection and the unfolding of every single moment, and it blows my mind, like the genius of the universe, to understand that, you know, the universe, God, whatever you identify with, this infinite genius, this wisdom that knows that if we're saying, okay, we're talking about a multi-million-dollar business, we're talking about best-selling author, we're talking about a healthy, amazing relationship or marriage, but we're not yet the version of ourselves that is an energetic match to that thing, right? Or else we would have it. So in order for us to actually receive this thing, we go on this transformation, this journey of becoming. And this, my friends, is the work, right? And this is the work that's very unglamorous. This is the work that, you know, will trigger so much to the surface, and it will create, you know, questions in our mind like, do I actually want this? Because initially, when we're choosing to change, to grow, to aim higher, often what happens is we actually get pulled backwards, or it feels like we're getting pulled backwards. But really what's happening is that we're being shown the parts of ourselves that are not in alignment with this thing. So we're being given an opportunity to heal, to grow, to transform. Now, let me break this down into like something actually usable, tangible, right? Do you know what? So like I got really clear around money. Let's talk about money mindset for a minute. I got really clear that I was done working for other people. In my head, I was like, I'm a CEO. I'm not some like office girl. Like, I don't work for other people. I know that I have a unique point of view. I am here to do things my way, right? I had worked for years with, at risk and homeless kids and youth. I'd worked for many years in mental health and that sort of world with counseling, empowerment, psychology, mental health. And I'd seen what I had decided were the gaps. So I knew, right, I'm done. This is not for me. I'm not someone that works for other people. Now, of course, this is just my journey, right? If you love that, then cool. But chances are, if you're listening to this, you're probably not like that. Anyway, so I got really clear, like, I work for myself. I'm a CEO. CEO. It's all I thought about. And so some crazy events unfolded, which I can't really talk about because it involves other people. But when I say crazy, I mean crazy. And I ended up having to leave the job that I was in, due to some nuts circumstances that I never would have imagined. So what then happened, right? Because my focus was like money and receiving abundance and leveling up and, running my business. And I had big goals for that. I wanted it to thrive and I wanted all these things to happen. And so the very first thing that happened was I lost everything, or so it felt, right? There was like a crumbling of my entire world. So just for context, what this looked like was I lost the job, right? 2 days later, someone tried to steal my car, but they were unsuccessful. But what they ended up doing was destroying the ignition. And it took me a month to get the insurance company to sort it out and to get it fixed. So I was without a car for a month. Now, I live in a little town that is tricky to get around. Like, there's like one bus a day, right? So all of a sudden, I was super isolated, forced to sit with myself, to be very alone, to sit with my thoughts, my internal world. What I was actually being given was a real opportunity to deepen my relationship to myself, right? To work on my internal world, to work on my beliefs, my mindset. So no car, no job. I then find out that it's very likely that I was going to have to move out of my house. And I'm just like, oh my God. Okay. And then my friend very kindly said to me, hey, you can borrow my car, like, while your car's getting sorted. I was like, cool. Oh no, wait, I'm skipping a step. So hang on, I got my car back after a month, right? And then I was driving out in the country about 40 minutes from cell reception. Like, I decided to go to the beach one day because I was like, that will ground me and calm me, right? So I was coming back from the beach. I drive around the corner and there's this massive scraping noise and my car just dies on the side of the road. And I end up having to hitchhike home. There's no cell reception, so I just have to get into a car with a stranger. There's no houses anywhere. Like, I ended up coming home. It was this massive drama because someone had obviously reported my car on the side of the road. The police call me because they're freaking out that I have gone to, hurt myself, because they just find this car in the middle of nowhere with no sight of anyone. So it's this massive drama, right? The car eventually gets towed. The towing company, there's this massive drama. They try to triple charge me. The police get involved. It was this massive chaotic thing. And then my car gets to the towing company. It's the wrong place, so they have to pay again. And then the mechanic is basically like, I've never seen a car so badly written off. Like, I have no idea what happened. And what had happened was something about the axles, like the engine had actually fallen through and broken. Is it axles? I'm a car person, can you tell? But there's 4 of them. I think it was an axle. Only one of them was still there. So basically, my car had just destroyed itself. So I had no car. I had to potentially move. I had no job. This was all within a matter of weeks. So then, this is when my friend very kindly said to me, hey, you can borrow my car. And so I was like, oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much. So I went to pick it up. I drive it home. No issues. The next day I go to leave the house and the car won't start. And I call him and I'm like, what's going on? He said, oh, I'm so sorry. It's probably the battery. I'll fix it. So he comes over, puts a new battery in, starts fine. A couple of days later, I go to leave, car won't start. So car is totally totaled, right? And so he ends up taking it away. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So like having a car just creates a sense of freedom, right? So then I end up borrowing a car that my stepdad, my ex-stepdad who lives overseas, he had left a car here. And so I borrow it, right? And I'm driving to boxing one morning because at this point boxing was all I had left. Like this is like, I felt like this is all I've got as my one thing. And of course it's raining. So I'm driving to boxing and this car makes this weird noise and stops on the side of the road. And I call someone about it. And he's like, is there gas? And I said, yeah, it says it's 3/4 full. And he said, no, that meter is broken. If it says 3/4 full, it's actually on empty. So I had to then get someone to come pick me up, take me to the gas station, put gas in it, drive it home, and then I was just like, what the heck? Now, I share this story with you not to freak you out, guys, because things got very, very good after this. But there was a massive period of just crap. Like, all these things, what it was doing, it was showing me what was going on within myself, right? It was triggering all my fears around money, security, my belief in myself and my ability to actually be who I said I was. I was sitting there saying, I'm a CEO, I'm a CEO, I'm a CEO, right? So the universe was like, okay, here you go. Here's your opportunity to actually be who you say you are. So are you going to become a victim and freak out and be like, oh my God, this is the end of the world, everything sucks, like I can't do it? Or are you going to use this as a foundation to rebuild yourself? And that's exactly what I did, right? Now, me being me, thankfully I had the tools and I also had an awareness that this is what happens, right? Because there are universal laws at play, just like gravity. There are all sorts of things that are happening all the time. And our external world is a reflection of our internal world. So I knew that the more internal work that I did, the more that I aligned my belief system, my faith in myself, the more that I developed these skills within myself, my external world was going to reflect that back to me. And it did. Okay, but I also don't want to gloss over the journey here because you can imagine how stressed out I was at this time, right? How isolated I was. And because of my massive vision and the goals that I have, it required so much growth from me. Like, you know, you don't just call a podcast World Domination without having massive goals, right? So when I'm thinking CEO, I'm thinking best-selling author, I'm thinking, you know, impacting like millions of people. Let's be honest, like I don't have little goals, right? So the version of me that is living that life had to grow a lot, had to learn how to trust, had to learn how to surrender, had to rewire so many beliefs within myself because of course we attract what we are, right? So as I spoke about in last week's episode, I talked about this, that we attract what we are, right? Which is why it's so important that we have this belief system of putting ourselves on the top shelf, where we deeply love, value, and accept and believe in ourselves. Because what happens when shit hits the fan is that's when actually, you know, that's what reveals to us what's actually going on within us. And one of my favorite spiritual teachers who sadly is no longer with us, Wayne Dyer, he has this analogy and I love it. And he talks about, you know, when you squeeze an orange, you don't expect apple juice to come out, right? Of course not. When you squeeze an orange, you expect orange juice to come out. Because when we get squeezed, it squeezes out what's really in us. And so these moments of like massive growth are so important because it actually is aligning us with what we've asked for. And so often I just feel like we don't talk about this. We see the end result, we see the success, but these are the moments that most people crumble and fall because it's hard, it's scary. We don't have the tools. Our nervous system panics. We're like, oh my God, how am I going to survive this? Like, I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent. I don't know how I'm going to eat. Like, oh my God, everyone was right. I'm a failure. That's when we're getting squeezed, right? And our juice is coming out. And It's in those moments where it seems ridiculous, where you just think, how on earth am I going to get through this? Like, how am I going to survive this? Well, we have two options, right? We have two options. We can either remind ourselves in this moment that everything is happening for us. Nothing is random. Nothing is a coincidence. And so, since this is happening, it means that this is where I need to be. And since this is where I need to be, then I can trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it needs to be, right? Or we can panic and freak out and shut down and go back to our old ways. Those are kind of our options, right? So, okay, let's get really practical here, though. This is so funny. This is not where I was expecting this conversation to go today. But obviously this is what needs to come out, because so often I say things and you guys message me and you're like, I feel like you were talking directly to me, and it blows my mind. So again, I'm just the vessel. Let's just trust the process. So let's just assume that you are an epic, brave warrior who is bold enough to sit in the discomfort and learn how to grow through it, right? Because what I can also tell you is that on the other side of these really challenging squeeze moments is everything that you want. This is the reason most people settle for such average, boring lives, is because they lack the courage to sit in the unknown, and they don't have the tools, right? And they don't have the belief in themselves to know that they're worthy of more and that they can absolutely have more. And if you're around really negative, small-minded people who settle for crap relationships, crap money, crap health, crap everything, it's really easy to just accept that, right? You watch the news, you get negative, you get down and out on the world, or not. Or you actually start choosing your own beliefs, your own thoughts, and you start creating your life instead of reacting to what's going on around you. This is what successful people are doing, right? We just don't even worry about what those other people do, because we don't want their lives, so why would we follow them, right? Why would we copy them? Now, back to how do we actually navigate this? Okay, so firstly, do you believe that you're actually creating your life? Or do you feel like you're a victim? Because this is the big thing. When you understand how your mind works, how these universal laws work, I'm talking about the law of attraction here, right? And the law of vibration in particular, that everything is a mirror for you of your dominant state, right? This is why I go on and on and on about our subconscious mind and our dominant belief systems, because it's not random what comes into your life, right? And I'm talking about patterns. When you've got a repeated pattern of a certain thing, a crap relationship, or ever not having enough money, or whatever it is, or just really crappy friends that treat you like garbage, when there's that pattern coming in, you know that it's because there's a dominant belief in you. There's something about you that's actually a match to those things at an unconscious level, right? This is not about shame or judgment or anything like that. It's actually a real gift when we can observe these patterns, because then we get to change them, right? And remember that your mind, its job is to keep you safe and alive, not to make you happy, which means that it likes to keep you in the familiar, because what is familiar feels safe to the mind. So if you're familiar with people treating you like garbage and like you don't matter, your mind is actually going to be happier in that situation until you start to consciously break that cycle, right? So what we want to do is take back our power and understand that we attract what we are. The law of attraction is bringing to us our dominant state of being, our dominant beliefs. So if we don't like what we're actually attracting back to us right now, we can be like, oh, okay, cool. So I can see what's going on here now. It's reflecting back to me that I have really poor beliefs around money. Like, I feel constantly scared that there's not enough, right? And I hear you guys going, yeah, but there isn't enough. That's why I think that. Okay, I totally hear you. And as someone that lived literally in a house with no running water, no power, I've been as poor as you can be without living in a car in my adult life and as a child. I totally resonate with this, right? But I'm not here to keep you stuck. I want to help you break free. And so even if your experience has been not having enough and that you don't know how you're going to survive, those belief systems are only going to create more of that for you. Whereas if you can start working on the root of that fear and getting around, and I mean, listen to podcasts of successful people, read books, get amongst that energy of luxury. Even if you just watch luxury videos on YouTube, anything that you can do to create a sense of abundance and start to shift that story. It's going to change everything for you, because remember, your mind also is wired to seek out more, which means that what you start dominantly thinking and focusing on, it's going to find more of that for you. So when you start seeing evidence of luxury, of wealth, of abundance, of millionaires, of whatever the thing is that you're looking to create, it's a lot easier, right? And it's really exciting as you start noticing that shift. Like when you start noticing, even if you find $2 on the ground, right? If you've had a belief of, oh my God, there's not enough, I'm poor, I'm broke, you've got that identity. And then all of a sudden you find $2 or your favorite item at the supermarket is on special, and you can start to become aware, oh, there's abundance here. Those little shifts are not little. We're literally creating new neural pathways in your mind, right? And because the more you think it, the more you notice it, your mind will find more. So initially, it's going to be a bit of work to start thinking differently. And I have other podcasts that go way more into this sort of belief stuff. This one, what I want you guys to be aware of is just that everything is happening for you. This is the core takeaway from this episode. Everything is happening for you because it's all showing you what's going on within yourself, right? And then you get to choose, do I like this or not? And on the flip side, right, if we go back to the version of me that, had 3 cars broken down and I'm like, am I homeless and no job and all these sorts of things. So in those moments, right, there was so much within me that had to shift in order for me to have my breakthrough. I had years of childhood trauma of feeling so unlovable, so unworthy, so not good enough, broke. I had so many fears around money, right? And it would have been so easy to be just furious at the universe. And let's be honest, I had moments where I was like, this is so unfair. I am such a good person and I just want to do good things in the world. Why is it so freaking hard? But I also knew that I wasn't being punished. I was actually being guided towards the thing that I'd asked for by being shown exactly what needed to happen in order for me to get where I wanted to go. And the crazy thing is when you actually start paying attention, it always works out. The fact that we're still here, we're still alive, it's always worked out. And when we start consciously creating our life, we start consciously choosing the direction of our life, that is when we can have even more faith, right? Because when we've decided, I don't care what your goal is, right? If your goal is world domination, awesome. If your goal is to move into a new house, to get a new job, to let people love you, to shift your own relationship with yourself where you get to feel lovable and worthy and deserving, right? Everything's going to come up that is not in alignment with that belief, right? And it's not coming up to punish you. It's coming up to show you, okay, so you want to feel worthy, or you want to receive this, or you want to be in a relationship. Did you know that you still have a fear of abandonment? Did you know that you still deeply feel unlovable and unworthy? Because as you heal those things, guess what? You attract differently, because we attract what we dominantly are, not what we want, right? So in those moments where we've done this, we've set the intention, we're taking the action, we're sitting in the uncomfortable stuff, and we don't know necessarily what's going to come next, and it's all unknown, right? This is where faith comes in. because there is an element of this. When we're in the unknown and we're creating something that we haven't experienced yet before in our life, it is going to feel uncomfortable. It just is. But this is where we really need to look at as well. What is our relationship like with God, universe, the bigger part, the bigger external world, however you identify it, right? That's what matters. But when we're sitting in the discomfort and we know that we've done everything that we can do, how do we surrender if we don't have a relationship with God, or if we don't understand how the universe works? It would just be ridiculous, because we'd be like, well, okay, we're trying to surrender and trust the process, but who are we trusting? What are we trusting? What are we surrendering to? So all these things are going to come up. It's going to test our very identity. It's going to trigger all of our wounds, all of our fears, every story that we have about the world and ourselves and how we relate to it. All these things are going to come up. Okay, so what we need to do is choose to trust. And like I talked a lot about in the last episode, what's going to be so important here is nervous system regulation. Because sitting in the unknown, where we've never been before, our mind is not going to just let us do that. Because remember, our mind is there to keep us safe and alive. Sitting in the unknown, we don't know where the money is coming from. We don't know how things are going to work out, where our house is going to come from, where our car is going to come from. That is so scary, right? So scary. So, what we want to do, we want to utilize subconscious tools. We want to utilize hypnotherapy, and we want to utilize EFT tapping. These are things that EFT you can definitely get for free on YouTube. And hypnosis, I have just released a hypnosis all around feeling worthy and deserving, and it really taps into our confidence and allowing us to receive and allow love and feel good, right? Because of course, when we believe that we're worthy and deserving and we feel good about who we are, guess what? We attract those sorts of things. We attract people and opportunities and experiences that reflect that back to us. Okay, so while we are choosing to trust the timing, right? We're also choosing to believe in ourselves and our ability to navigate hard stuff. Because like I say, there is a reason that most people settle for what they can control. Because choosing to be in the unknown, choosing to be bold and brave and create stuff that that hasn't existed yet, or that, creating a life that your family, like if your family are super, let's be responsible and realistic, and you come in and say, hey guys, I'm starting this business, I have no idea how it's going to work out, there's probably going to be some resistance there, right? So for you to really be able to trust the timing and the unfolding, and that everything that's coming up is leading you to where you want to go, it's going to require you to really believe in yourself, have some sort of relationship with God, universe, some sort of faith, something to put your faith into, and also resilience. So much of that, it really does come down to how much do you want it? How badly do you want it? How willing are you to break free of these old stories and beliefs and things that may have plagued you your entire life? It matters so much. And the other thing is that I love playing with the word desire, right? Because the word desire literally translates to of the Father, meaning that the reason you desire this thing is because it's meant for you. And that has got me through so many moments where I'm just like, I'm so scared. I have no idea how things are going to work out. And it has enabled me to come back into the present moment and remember that, okay, but this thing is meant for me. It's not actually my job to figure out the how. It is my job to simply do what I need to do today. Where am I guided today? How can I move things forward today? Where is the inspired action today? How can I go deeper into myself? What are the triggers? What are the beliefs? What are the fears that are coming up? And how can I trust that everything is going to continue to unfold exactly as it needs to? Because guess what? It is. And when you have that clarity of the direction, and it's and you're showing up and you're doing this internal work and you're believing in your worth and your value and you're leveling up your mindset and your belief systems, you know what? Like attracts like. You can't not win. It's truly as simple as that. It is not easy, but it is as simple as that. Your external world is mirroring back to you who you are deep down at an unconscious level, your dominant way of being, and you can change this. And I know this episode may have come across as quite negative, but it's not, because I would not change a thing. I am so grateful that I've gone on this journey. I'm so grateful for the things that are unfolding, and who I have become in this process is allowing me to receive more and more and more love, money, joy, abundance, create more impact. It's just going to get bigger and bigger, because the further along we go, the easier it gets, actually, because we're just refining skills as opposed to that initial shift, which is quite a big jump, right, from who we were to who we're becoming. So trust the timing. Trust that you have the strength and the skills to navigate whatever comes up, because of course you do. You would not have been given this desire if you were not able to handle it. And remember, even your mind will never allow something that you cannot handle. And that's another thing that's really helped me. Like those moments where things have felt so overwhelming and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I have no idea how I'm going to get out of this. It's like, but my mind has allowed this, which means that is evidence for me that I have what it takes. And guess what? I always have, and I always do. And so do you. And of course, you guys, if you want one-on-one support, I am so here and ready to walk with you. You can also go and get that hypnosis in my online store right now, which is going to help to lift you very quickly because it goes in at the unconscious level. And also my self-study program, Untamed, which is a journaling exercise. It'll help you to set the goals. It'll help you to get clear on where you've been getting stuck and create a forward plan. And of course, when you've got that direction, truly you become unstoppable. So thank you guys for being here. Sorry about the heaviness, but I want to keep it real with you guys, because this is where people get stuck. It's not all, manifesting cars and millions of dollars. It's like the shift from who we were to who we're becoming is where most people fall down. But I'm here to tell you, it's going to get so good if you can just stick with it, believe in yourself, back yourself. You've got this. Send me a message if any of this has resonated, or if you want to chat more. I would love to have a virtual coffee with you. Awesome, guys. I'll see you next week. And that is a wrap. Thank you for showing up for yourself, for being here, and please let me know your aha moments. I want to hear all about them. For extra support, make sure you're following me on TikTok and Instagram at @TheMonicaFerguson. Check out the School of Greatness for self-study courses, and of course, if you want one-on-one mentoring, just DM me and I would love to have a chat with you. Go and slay the day. Thank you for being you. See you soon.